This stays between us. I'm Marcus Bennett, and I'm 42 years old. For the past 3 years, it's been just me and my daughter, Emma. Her mother passed when Emma was only 7, and since then I've been doing my best to be both father and mother to her. It hasn't been easy, but every morning when I see her smile, I know we're going to be okay. I work at Henderson Financial as a senior analyst. It's a good job with decent pay, and it keeps a roof over our heads. My boss, Victoria Thornton, is 51, and she's been with the company for nearly 20 years. She's known for being professional and fair, but also somewhat distant. We've worked together for 5 years now, and our relationship has always been strictly professional. Nothing more than project updates and quarterly reviews. Last Friday was the annual company holiday party. I almost didn't go because Emma had a school concert the night before, and I was exhausted. But my colleague Dave convinced me that showing my face would be good for my career. The party was held at the Riverside Hotel in their grand ballroom. There must have been 200 people there. Victoria gave a speech thanking everyone for their hard work and dedication. She looked elegant in her red blazer, and everyone applauded when she finished. I was standing near the dessert table talking with a few colleagues when Victoria approached me. "Marcus," she said, "quietly, could I speak with you for a moment?" Of course, I replied, setting down my coffee cup. She glanced around the crowded ballroom, then gestured toward the hallway. Somewhere more private, she added. My heart started racing. Had I done something wrong? Was I being let go right before the holidays? I followed her down a corridor until we reached a small private bathroom. She checked that it was empty, then held the door open for me. "Please," she said, "this will only take a minute." I stepped inside, and she closed the door behind us. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, and I could hear muffled music from the party. Victoria took a breath, and when she looked at me, her eyes were different, softer somehow, more vulnerable than I'd ever seen them. "What I'm about to tell you stays between us," she said firmly. "I need your word, Marcus." "You have it," I replied, confused but sincere. She nodded and seemed to gather her courage. "I know about Emma," she said gently. "I know you're raising her alone." I stiffened slightly. "How did you know that?" "I pay attention to my team," she said simply. "I've noticed over the years how you never complain, but you're always the first one to leave at 5 sharp. How you decline after-work drinks and weekend golf outings. How you keep a photo of a little girl on your desk, and sometimes I see you looking at it with such love." I didn't know what to say. Victoria continued, her voice steady but warm. 28 years ago, I was a single mother too. My daughter Rachel was 3 when her father left us. I was 23 years old, working 2 jobs and barely keeping our apartment. I remember the fear, Marcus, the exhaustion, the guilt of never feeling like you're doing enough. I felt something shift in my chest. This successful, confident woman standing before me had walked the same difficult path. She understood. There was a company party that year, too, she went on, much smaller than this one. My boss at the time pulled me aside and handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $5,000. She told me it was a bonus for good performance, but years later, I learned the truth. She had collected money from senior management because she knew I was struggling. That money changed everything for us, Marcus. It paid for childcare so I could take night classes. It gave me breathing room to become the professional I am today. Her eyes glistened slightly, but her voice remained strong. "I've never forgotten that kindness," she said, "and I've waited my entire career for the right moment to pay it forward." She reached into her blazer pocket and pulled out an envelope. "This is for you and Emma," she said, extending it toward me. "Inside is enough to cover a year of after-school programs or tutoring or whatever she needs. It's not a loan, Marcus. It's a gift from someone who knows exactly how hard you're working." I stood frozen, unable to move. "I can't accept this," I finally managed to say. Yes, you can, she replied firmly, because one day when you're in a position to help someone else, you will. That's how this works. We take care of each other. I took the envelope with trembling hands. My throat was tight, and I could barely form words. Why me, I whispered. Because you remind me of myself, she said simply. Because you show up every day with dignity and grace. Because you never make excuses. And because Emma deserves to have every opportunity, and you deserve not to carry this burden alone. A tear slid down my cheek, and I didn't wipe it away. Thank you, I said, my voice breaking. Victoria smiled, a real, genuine smile I'd never seen before. This stays between us, she repeated, but softer now, almost like a promise between old friends. When we returned to the party, separately, no one noticed anything unusual, but everything had changed. I looked at Victoria across the ballroom and saw not just my boss, but a woman who survived and thrived despite impossible odds. Someone who had chosen to lift others rather than forget where she came from. That night after the party, I sat with Emma at our kitchen table. I told her about the gift and about Victoria's story. I explained that sometimes in life angels appear when we need them most, and that one day when she grows up, she should remember to be that angel for someone else. Emma hugged me tight and whispered, "I'm proud of you, Dad." 2 weeks later, Emma started music lessons she'd been dreaming about for years. She's learning piano, and her teacher says she has real talent. Every time I hear her practice, I think about Victoria and the courage it took to be vulnerable with me, to share her story, to trust me with her kindness. I still work at Henderson Financial, and Victoria is still my boss. We don't speak about that night, but sometimes when we pass in the hallway, there's a knowing glance, a shared understanding. I'm saving now, not just for Emma's future, but for the day when I can pass this kindness forward. Because Victoria taught me something that night in that bathroom while the party continued without us. She taught me that strength isn't about doing everything alone. It's about accepting help when it's offered and giving it when you can. It's about remembering where you came from and reaching back to help the next person up. That's the kind of father I want Emma to see. And that's the kind of man I'm trying to become. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below telling us about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. Your story might inspire someone else who needs to hear it today.